All right. Hello, it's Mr. Hauser. So I'm going to share with you a book today. Today's story is going to be Edward the Emu, and it's written, the author is Sheena Knowles, and the illustrator is Rod Clement. It's a story about an emu, which is a bird similar to an ostrich, who's unhappy with his position in life, as you can see on the front cover. So he tries some different things in the story, only to learn an important lesson by the end of it. So, before we jump into the story, let's go through some of the important words that we can learn from in this book. The first one I'm going to share with you is the word pen, P-E-N. And pen is a noun. Remember, a noun is a person, place, or thing. There are two or more different meanings of the word pen, which makes it a special type of word called a homonym. Homonyms are spelled the same, but they mean different things. So the most familiar way we know the word pen is as something we could write with. That is a pen, similar to a pencil. But today's story is going to use the word pen as more of a place. It's an enclosure or cage-like thing that we might keep live animals or even humans in. A pen. Many of us as kids spent some time playing in a playpen. Well, playpen is a compound word where you put together two words to make a new word. It's a pen, a place similar to a cage or an enclosure where kids can play. I had put Des in one over there, but he broke free. That is a playpen, similar to what many of us might have been in as little kids. Okay, let's go back, please. Go back in your playpen. So we're gonna use.
See my
Stop.
forehead?
Yeah, I see your forehead. Forehead. Okay.
I see my head.
Okay. Back up. Thank you. All right. The next word we're gonna look at is the word amusing. Now, if you enjoyed Desmond peeking his head in there, then that was amusing. Amusing is something that comes from the word amuse, which is a verb, but amusing is an adjective. That means it describes something. So Desmond is amusing when he pops his head into my videos. Amusing is like the word entertaining. Entertaining means we enjoy it. We like to watch it. It's funny, or it's enjoyable. Yes, it could be a movie or a book or a person that are amusing. So because they describe those things, we would say that it is an adjective. Okay. The last two words we're going to look at. The first one is basked. Now, even though it sounds like there's a T at the end, there's an ED. Okay? And we know that ED has different sounds when it is at the end of words. ED is a hint to us that this is a verb because many verbs can be used with ED at the end. So it's made from bask, and we add ED to it to show that it happened in the past. What bask means is lying in the sun. People might lie in the sun. Some of the animals might lie in the sun. We might do it because it's enjoyable, because it feels good. Some animals, like reptiles, in fact, bask in the sun to keep their body the right temperature. So instead of getting too cold, they might lie out in the sun, and that helps keep their bodies warm instead of getting too cold. That's great. Nice job. Another word that we're going to look at is snarled. Now, snarled also ends with an ED, which shows us that it is another verb. Similar to basked, it ends with an ED, but different than basked, it has a different sound. We've learned that basked, that there's a ED can sound like a T at the end of a word, but it can also sound like a D at the end of a word. So snarled has a D, it sounds like a D at the end, even though it's spelled with the snarl plus an ED, which means it happened in the past. Now, the word snarl is something that we might do with our face in order to make a sound. So it's a very lip-focused one where our lip kind of goes up like that and scrunches, and we might make a noise as we do it. So an animal might snarl, a person might snarl, and we do it when we're probably not very happy with something. So, snarl. So look for those. The last thing I'm going to point out as we read is to look out for any more compound words. Compound words are when there's a word connected to another word to make a new word, okay? Both parts have to be a word by themselves in order to be a compound word. Playpen is an example of it, though we won't find it in this story. It is one word that's made from play and pen. That's what compound words are. So, as I read, I want you to try and see if you can find any compound words in the story. Okay? And I hope you enjoy it. Edward the Emu. Edward the Emu by Sheena Knowles. Edward the Emu was sick of the zoo. There was nowhere to go. There was nothing to do. And compared to the seals that lived right next door, well, being an emu was frankly a bore. So that night when the zookeeper went home to bed, Edward jumped from his pen and he laughed as he said, "The seals are best, anybody can tell. So tomorrow I'll just be a seal as well." The next morning at 9, when they opened the zoo, the seals were swimming and Edward was too. He dived in the water and basked in the sun, and he balanced a ball on his beak just for fun. Emus don't do that. Seals do that. It's interesting. Well, Edward was really enjoying the day till he overheard someone behind the fence say, "The seals are always amusing, it's true, but the lion's the best thing to see at the zoo." So that night when the zookeeper went home to bed, Edward jumped from the pool and he smiled as he said, "The lion's the best, anybody can tell, so tomorrow I'll just be a lion as well." The next morning at 9, when they opened the zoo, the lions were roaring and Edward was too. He snarled at the ladies and growled at the men. Life was certainly grand for a lion in his den. Edward was having a wonderful day, till a man in the crowd had the gumption to say, "The lion's a beast I shall always detest. The snakes are the best thing that I like to see best." So that night when the zookeeper went home to bed, Edward crept from the cage and he grinned as he said, "If the snakes are the best things," okay, we'll deal with it afterwards. "If the snakes are the best things, and that's what they say, then tomorrow I'll be a snake for a day." The next morning at 9, when they opened the zoo, the snakes were all hissing, and Edward was too. He slipped round the rocks, it was magic to see. Then he curled himself casually up round a tree. Well, Edward was just warming up for the day when he overheard one of the visitors say, "The snakes are impressive, I know that it's true, but the emu's by far the best thing at the zoo." "The emu?" gasped Edward. "My goodness, that's me. I'm the thing that gentleman most likes to see. Not the seals, the lions, the snakes, and the rest. It's Edward the emu he likes to see best." So that night when the zookeeper went home to bed, Edward slipped from the cage and he laughed as he said, "If the emu's the best, then that's easy then. Tomorrow I'm Edward the emu again." Edward ran to the place where he used to reside. But oh, what a shock when he clambered inside. He found himself suddenly come face to face with the emu they'd brought in to take Edward's place. The emus considered each other a while. Then the new emu said with a shy little smile, "Hello, I'm Edwina. It's nice meeting you. You're the best thing I've seen since I came to the zoo." The end. So, the task was to see if you can think of or find or listen for any compound words in this story. So, let's see what you found. I hope that you found the person who keeps the zoo. Okay, I'm almost done. Keep it together for a couple more minutes. The person who keeps the zoo or who works at the zoo to keep everybody safe and every animal healthy is the zookeeper. Zookeeper is a compound word. You also might have heard or overheard, just like some of the characters in this, the word overheard. And that is when hearing, it was over other sounds. They may not have been the person they were talking to, but they overheard it. Okay, and the last one I thought I heard was gentleman. Now, Desmond should be a gentleman, though he's not a man yet. He will grow into one and be gentle. Hey, be gentle. Yeah, I'm talking to you. Okay. And so gentleman is a gentleman, someone who is able to be gentle, a man who's able to be gentle. Now, there were some other ones in there. I know someone was also a compound word. Anybody was also one. Nothing, even that is a compound word because it means no thing. So after seeing that, we can tell that compound words are pretty common, pretty easy to come across, and they're really fun to hear as described as two words put together. So with the words pen, amusing, basked, and snarled, we also came across quite a few compound words. So I hope you enjoyed Edward the Emu. I hope that even if you are unhappy with your position in life, you realize that many times that's the best place for you, just like Edward figured out. Okay? So find your Edwina. All right, talk to you guys later. Zola, any parting words? Anything you want to say as we end? She said no, because Desmond knocked over her tower, so we're unhappy about that. So you may have heard. All right, or overheard. All right, we'll see you guys shortly.